Good morning, Internet. This is Alex does Sudokus. It is Tuesday, the 1st of September 2020, and we have another medium New York Times Sudoku for you today. We are going to use the Snyder notation to solve this. Unfortunately, I have to rush a little bit, so I can't do my usual very detailed explanation. But hopefully, if you follow the previous videos, you'll be able to kind of get some tips on how you're supposed to use the Snyder notations. And I think today I'm just going to speed it up a little bit, but still maintaining narrations. But I may gloss over a little bit some of the techniques and jump right ahead. So at a quick glance, we only have a single one, and they don't see into any cages as such. That leaves us with two candidates. So we're going to move on to two. These twos locks a single two in there. Have we got any other twos? Not that I can see, so I can't see anything else. So moving on to threes, I can see these two threes locks a three up there. So this is what I mean by skipping ahead. I'm not going to talk through the rows and columns that the numbers cover. I'm just going to point out these two three, for instance, locks a pair of threes in there. And I think that's all we can do with the threes. So what about fours? That four immediately locks a four in this cage, and that leaves us with a pair, a matching pair within this cage. So we may as well pencil mark them in. 7 and 8s are missing. So let's stay on the fours. So these two fours locks a pair of fours over here. Let's see. Can't see anything else. So what about fives? These two fives along with that five locks a confirmed five over there. And these two fives works in tandem with that five, locking another confirmed five. And now these two fives works with that five, locking another five over there. And now these two fives work together and locks a pair of fives. However, I've got another pair of fives here, working with a five, locking a confirmed 5 there, which erases the pencil marking, meaning that has to be a 5 as well. And suddenly we've done all the 5s. So let's look at 6s. These two 6s and that 6 locks a confirmed 6 over there, and these two 6s locks a pair of 6s over there. Now, a bit of a hint, but looking at this cage, the 6s are locked in columns 8 and 9, and I've got 6 here seeing this cell, so the 6 can't go in column 7 in this cage, or this cage, so it has to go in column 7 in this cage in some way. So looking at the 6 here, there's actually a pair of 6 over here, so I don't know if there's a name for this technique, but I tend to look out for it whenever I scan from one axis. If I come over with the 6s horizontally, I will look down vertically and see if I see, if they're pointed, I'll use that to eliminate cells. If they're not pointed, I'm going to look at the other cells downwards to see if they have the same properties where they're locked in the same columns. And that's how I find this pair of 6s. So can we do anything else with 6s? Not that I can see, so let's move on to 7s. So these two 7s and that 7 locks a 7 over here. Oops. Oh, what's going on? 7 over here. That creates another pair of 7s, which are locked up here. We've got a pointed pair of 7s locking these two cells, and that 7 here. So that 7 is confirmed, which means that pencil marking 7 has to be erased. It's another confirmed 7. And these two 7s, along with that 7, confirms a 7 down here. And now we are left with a pair of 7s down here, thanks to these 3 7s. So let's move on to 8s. 8s, we've got these two 8s locking a pair of pointed 8s downwards, which means that has to be an 8 then. And that 8 works in tandem with the original 8, locking another pointed pair of 8s there. And that forces another pair of 8s in these two cells. This 8 also locks a pair of 8s over there, and I think that's all we can do with 8s, so let's move on to 9s. So these two 9s locks a pair of 9s over here, and I'm looking across to see, can I lock this 9 for instance, but I can't, so that's no use for me. However, this 9 locks a pair of 9s over there as well, and I think, nope, these two 9s also locks a pair of 9s over here. So now we have a situation where I have two 9s locked in columns 8 and 9. I have a 9 locked from column 7 here as well. So just like the 6s before, I can lock a 9 down here. But I've got 3 candidates and I don't know where the 9 falls in. So I'm going to leave that for now. But it's just worth bearing in mind that I have the 9s locked in this column here for later on. So in fact, we actually have a triple here, because if I look up, that 1 sees into that cell as well. So 1 has to be in columns 8 and 9 in these 2 cages as well. So in this instance, I'm going to break the rule a little bit in terms of slider notations. If I find a triple within a cage, it is worth pencil marking them in, because it may unlock something for us. So we actually have 1s, 9s and 6s in these 3 cells. So that means I have another triple here, which are going to be 4s. Well, 4 sees into that cell, so got a pair of 4s there. And I've got 2s and 4, 2, and what's the last number? 3s remaining. But again, we can't pencil mark in the 3s. So, however, what is important from this is that this triple means there's only 1 cell in play on this column. This cell cannot be 1, 6 or 9, and none of these cells can be anything other than 1, 6 and 9. That actually forces the 4 in here. So with that 4 confirmed, it doesn't unlock anything else for us. So I think it's time to do another round of notations to see, pencil markings, to see if we can find any other patterns emerging. 1s is still weak, so we can't do anything with it. So what about 2s? 2s, 2, 2, 2s. I can't see anything with 2s either, so 3s. Well, here we go. That 3 locks that cell, so the 3 has to be in columns 4 and 5. That means there has to be a 3 in column 6, and it has to go in there then. So with that 3, working in tandem with that 3, we've got another 3 unlocked. And this now helps us lock a pair of 3s down there that we can pencil mark them in. We still don't know where the 2 is in these triples, so let's continue on. 3s. 3s are also locked in these 2 cells because of that 3. So that creates a 3-8 triple, which is useful because we have another 3-8 pair. So that creates a triple in here, and they will have to be 1, 2 and 9. Well, that's useful because, well, we can pencil mark in the 9s now because the 9 sees into that cell and the 2 are locked in there. But we also have a 1 locked in this row, so that means that can't be a 1. I have a pointed triple of 1s. I've also got a pointed pair of 9s there, so that can't be a 9 either. So suddenly the 6 has been resolved over here, and that 6 works in tandem with that 6, locking a pair of 6s over there thanks to that 6 above. I still don't know where the 1 is yet in these 3 cells, but also now we don't have 3 candidates left by kind of resolving a triple into a matching pair now, so that's useful. And the other thing is we have a triple here, 1, 2 and 9, so there's another cell that's locked in here. It has to be a 4, so these 2 4s now work together, forcing another 4 down here. That 4 works in tandem with these 2 4s, locking another 4 in here, which resolves the 3, and that 3 resolves the 3-8 pair down here. And does it do anything else? In fact, we should be looking at the 8s now. 8 doesn't give us anything. That 3 also locks a 3 down here. So now these 2 cells are a pairs of 2s and 4s. So the pointed 2s means along with that 2, well, that 2 actually forces a pair of pointed 2s down here. So one of these 2 have to be 2s, but I've got pointed pair of 2s here seeing into that cell, so that's got to be a 2, which resolves the 7, which resolves the 9, which resolves the 6. So now we have a pair of cells left. One of them sees the 1, so 1 has to go in the other cell. So that leaves us with an 8. So that 8 resolves the 7 and 8 pair here. And that 8 resolves the 8. And that 8 resolves the 2. And have we got any more? Yes, that 2 locks a 2 up there in this cage. And we have a pair of 2s over here. So now we're left with 1s and 6s in these 2 cells. I have a 6 over here, so that has to be a 1 and a 6. And these 2 6s now locks another 6 over here. That 1 locks a 1 in here. The 1 has to be in these 2 columns on the top cage as well. So that means the 1 has to go in column 6 over here, which resolves the 2 and the 9. And that 9 resolves that 9, forcing a 1 into this cell. This 1 resolves the 1 and 8 down here. And this 9 also resolves the 1 and 9 over here. 4 and 2, nothing over there. This 8 resolves the 8 over there. And that's the end of the chain. However, we have another 1 locked in this row. So now, since we have these as matching pairs, they can't contain the 1s. So the 1 has to go in here. And finally, we have a 4 locked in that cell, which resolves the 2 and the 4. And the 2 resolves the 2 and the 9. And the 9 should resolve the 9 and the 6. And that is how we solve today's medium New York Times Sudoku. I hope that's been useful. I'm sorry I had to rush it a little bit. I should be back to normal schedule tomorrow. So yeah, if it's helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. But if you want to see any more videos, just subscribe anyway. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye!